Hello, everyone. Welcome to the July edition of Cybersonic. We're very excited to continue on our journey of understanding cybersecurity and knowing about what is happening new and how we can be better in securing our information and ourselves from the ever growing threats in this digital era. Today, we have an information security expert, Mr. Rahul K. For the beginners, for our new joinees, sir, can you please introduce yourself to them?
Thanks for having me here. Welcome everyone. Myself Rahul. I'm having 17 years of experience in IT industry. I worked in various verticals. At present, I'm working as a GRC manager. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you've been working for 17 years. There's definitely a lot to
Yeah.
share.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
like to jump right in with, understanding for our beginners also. So starting with a very basic question is, what is information security and how does information security relate with cybersecurity controls?
Yeah. Information security is protecting all your assets, right? Normally, information means it's a collection of data, right? So it's altogether protecting all your informations. So in simple words, applying CAA, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, applying this. So cyber security is a subset of information security, which are the devices connected to internet. So you are protecting, how you are protecting by applying firewalls, antivirus, while using SIM, SOAR technologies. So these are not part of applying cyber security controls, right? Yeah. I think you are on mute. You're on.
Yes, sorry. So we have heard about ISO 27001, right?
Yeah.
Um, but we've only heard, like, I had to do research. I'm pretty sure beginners don't know anything about that. So can you tell what it is? And also, what's the purpose of ISO 27001, if that's how
Yeah.
it's pronounced?
Yeah. It's ISO stands for International Standard of Organization.
Right,
So it is a standard actually. The 27001 is an ISMS standard in Information Security Management Service. So the latest version is 2022. So earlier version is 2013. So ISO is a standard actually. So it is accepted across 250 countries. So suppose if you are implementing any controls in an organization, generally you can start with the ISO standards. So, so what it was in simple words, suppose if I am doing a business with you, I would like to know more about you. And so suppose if you are ISO certified, ISO 27000 certified, you can show that certificate as a proof, right? So that will build the customer trust, right? So if I'm doing a business with you, your problem will become my problem also. So I want to make sure that you are properly certified and you are following, you have proper controls are in place. That's very,
right,
very important nowadays.
right, right.
Yeah.
So standard that brings us to understanding what is the difference between policies and what is the between policies and security procedures. I think that
Yeah.
connects to this, right?
Yeah. So, I told about ISO 27001, ISO 27001, 2022, and
Right,
23rd of 2013 also is there. In 2013, 114 controls are there. Now it is reduced to 1914. So, while referring the standards, we will be making a policies, right?
right,
So, policy is a high level document. So, what we will do means we cannot as per the always security should align with the business requirement, what kind of business you are doing. So right, security, so it should align with the business requirements, because in I cannot implement all the 100 controls in my organization. Based upon my business need, I will apply, I'll incorporate those into my policies, right?
right,
So policy is a very high level document. Procedure is actually, it is a how to do it's for example, procedure is a step-by-step instruction how to perform an activity, that is called procedure, like
right,
you might be knowing the standard operating procedure,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So that's the thing. So when below to that we have guidelines also, like you might have heard about COVID guidelines, right? wash your
Right.
hands frequently, wear mask. The
Right.
guideline is not mandatory. It is
Yeah.
a you have to follow that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So there's also a framework called NIST, the NIST framework, right?
yeah.
So what is that? And can you also explain the main focus of NIST?
Yeah, NIST stands for National Institute of Standard and Technology.
Right.
So, what a NIST will do means it's a framework, right? So,
Right.
ISO is a standard, so NIST is a framework. So, framework is it's a kind of blueprint actually. Suppose if you're constructing rules, you will have an idea how to do it. So, ISO, NIST, the framework is cybersecurity framework is the latest one is 2.0. Earlier was 1.1. So now in NIST cybersecurity framework, what will so you can implement ISO. It's not a problem. What so suppose if you are implementing this ISO framework also, ISO standard also, so you can use this NIST framework to identify the gap. Right. For example, NIST cybersecurity framework is especially for how you implement the cybersecurity control effectively. Okay.
Right.
So in this, yeah, so NIST you can use it as a additional what do you call for identifying the gap. What are the if you are implementing ISO, if anything gap is exists, you can use NIST framework also.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So if you ask me, NIST is like it is not that much ready. It's flexible. You can do some customization. In that.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we have NIST, we have ISO, but overall, when an organization is taking a look at their cybersecurity, uh, how can they uh, how can they measure the effectiveness of the policies and the procedures that they have implemented?
Yeah, very good question. So, for because security is not a one-time process; it's a continuous process actually. So,
Right.
you suppose if you implement ISO policies or everything, so once you leave it, you have to check whether the controls are sufficient, whether it is working effectively or not, right?
Right.
So, how will you affect? So you can do some internal auditing,
Right.
right? You can do internal auditing, and you can check whether it is working or what you can do means you can do the risk assessment.
Mm.
So that is very very important. And actually, in security, people are the weakest link in information security. People are the weakest, so we need to make that link stronger. So you need to do the continuous training. So some companies nowadays they are doing this simulated phishing campaigns actually. So how
Right.
many if I yeah, so if they send a simulated phishing emails, so how many people are clicking, whether they are aware about how to distinguish whether it's phishing mail or genuine mail. So
Right.
that's not required. And apart from that, what some companies will do means they will do this external auditing also.
Right.
So then you can check. So they are the third party people. They are coming to your organization. They'll certify you. That also required. So to do this way, we can check the effectiveness of our control. That is very very important. We have to do this exercise regularly, periodically. Hmm.
Okay.
So external testing, external this assessment we cannot do uh, uh, annually basis. It's we put. So that is a recommended vulnerability assessment. Also external VAPT we can do it in once in a year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
while applying this methodology, we can check the effectiveness of the controls.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. So, you told us that NIST is a framework and ISO are standards. And so, I can an organization also, take everything together? And the question that people might ask is, how can we comprehensively take them together and work out for a comprehensive approach, basically, to, sort of airtight the cybersecurity?
Yeah. So for in this case, actually, for nowadays, we cannot rely only on one particular control actually. So we have to follow the defense in depth architecture. So it's a
Okay.
layered approach you need to follow. So of course, if you have antivirus may not be effective. You need
Right.
to put additional DLP or web-based proxies. Those
Right.
things also required actually. So always follow defense in depth architecture and follow zero trust. Okay, never trust, always verify and validate. That
Right.
concept you need to apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that really brings us to the end of our set questions. But I feel like, maybe we can, if you're comfortable, we can dive into uh, what are like the recent trends that if you would like to share with organizations, or you would like to give some particular major tips that this is something you have to make sure you do. Baki is fine. These are things that you have to take care of. Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Nowadays, actually, we are focusing, targeting maybe external attack, all these things. But
Right.
we need to concentrate on inside attack. That is more dangerous. So we need to educate our users or our stakeholders whether they are aware about the policies, recent trends happening.
Right.
Now, everywhere you might have seen, right? Or every organization they are using ChatGPT, Gemini, this
Right.
kind of tools.
Yeah.
So sometimes they may not be having sufficient controls. Okay,
Right.
sometimes DLP relying only DLP will not be effect. So the
Right.
real sometimes what is happening means instead of proactive, it's happening reactive. So once the data goes out of your network, if you implement control, there is no point. So you have to make sure that they are aware about what will be the impact if it goes outside. So we need
Right.
to educate our users. That's another thing. And now every companies have to make an AI policy. That also very very important
Right.
because people should know how to use AI effectively. And suppose if you are doing handling any sensitive information, you need to make sure that proper encryption is placed, and you should know where the data is going. So all these things.
Right.
So the main thing I need to do is continuous awareness and education. That is very very important
Right.
because if you are implementing lot of technical control may not be effective. Same way you have to implement people control. So that
Right.
is that is a that's a fundamental
Yeah.
policy to follow.
After all,
Okay.
human
And
error
another
is
thing actually,
I,
yeah,
I was just saying human
so
error
tech,
is the biggest factor in
yes,
cybersecurity.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
have to follow the
continue.
common sense. Yeah, that's the
Right.
thing. So security actually always keep it simple. Okay, that is the thing. Always keep it simple.
Okay.
So and don't follow the zero trust. These things can apply. So education is make you need to so suppose people are well educated, but they should be aware. That's the thing.
Right.
Education is not sufficient. They should follow the rules.
Yeah.
That's what.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think our viewers might have gotten a very uh this was an insightful talk for sure. I know I learned a lot of things. I'm sure the audience learned a lot. Thank you so much for your time and wonderful insights, Rahul. I hope we have you again on the podium sometime soon.
Yeah, yeah, we are always welcome. And I would like to add actually, so nowadays a lot of certification, lot of free tools are available in market now.
Right.
Like Oracle is giving a training, you can do that. Lot of free sources are available. Everything is in your fingertips. So you
Right.
need to utilize that effectively.
Right.
Like we need to listen the podcast, lot of videos. So knowledge is everywhere. So we have to invest our time and we have to understand what's happening in the market and we have to
Right.
update ourselves. That's
Right.
very, very important. Like,
Yeah.
okay, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you for the last tip as well. Thank you so much again. And we'll see you for the next
Yeah.
session to the audience. Thank you again.